All right, start my timer. Hello, everyone, and welcome to AC23, the Arts and Culture radio show slash podcast of the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. My name is Chancellor xero Skidmore. My producer is Jeremy Porcine. Thank you all for listening, and please keep in mind that you can stream previous episodes on Apple Podcasts. We'll also be uploading bonus content to the Arts Council YouTube channel. Louisiana is famous for its staggering number of festivals that usually start happening in the spring. Of course, COVID-19 has dramatically impacted that tradition. The good news is that we're partially open, and the coordinators are exploring innovative ways to make these festivals happen while adhering to social distancing and other safety measures. The Ebb and Flow Festival, formerly Fest for All, is the Arts Council annual festival that has a mission to include or highlight other festivals happening in the city. Ebb and Flow is kicking off on July 27th and will run through June 4th. It'll include virtual and live events, including visual art exhibitions and awards, live music events, live dance events, circus, arts demonstrations, fireworks show, and many other things. You can get the full schedule at www.ebbandflowbr.org. That's ebbandflowbr.org. So, in keeping with the Ebb and Flow mission to shine a spotlight on the other amazing events and festivals that happen in the Capital Region, I'm joined today by Dennis Jones, Sherice Campbell, and Gjvar Payne. They're with Colors of Pride that's taking place from June 25th to June 28th. Sherice, Dennis, Gjvar, welcome to AC23. How y'all doing today?
Hey, all right, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I'm so glad that y'all are here. I'm really good friends with Charlotte Provo, and I came across the flyer on Facebook, and I talked to my boss, Renee Chatelain. I was like, well, I want to highlight this event that's coming up, but I know we have our own festival that's kicking off. And she was like, our festival is all about shining a spotlight on what other people are doing. Let's bring Colors of Pride on, and let's get the word out about Colors of Pride. And so here we are. Shout out to Renee Chatelain. And so, Dennis, I guess I'll start with you. Well, you and Gjvar are the co-creators of the festival. Maybe I should start with Gjvar because as we talked earlier, I think Gjvar, you said you had the idea, and then you hit up Dennis. So, like, what inspired this, y'all?
Well, so with the pandemic happening and everything going more virtual and in nature, we were on a call with, because right now I'm going to be the new executive director of Capital Area Reentry Program. So it's a local nonprofit here in the city.
Congrats.
And so we do a lot of HIV work, prevention work, and so we do a lot of work in asset building in our community. And so we were all brainstorming of what we were going to do in honor of National HIV Testing Day, as well as Pride. And they were asking, could we combine something and do something in that nature for the community? And everybody was looking at me like, okay, well, you the spokesperson, you know? And so I was like, okay, well, I actually have an idea. Let's do a virtual drive-through Pride, which keeps consistent with the activities that are happening, during this pandemic, with social distancing and wearing masks and being virtual. And then I kept seeing a lot of people do these little drive-by parades, with the graduation parties, birthday parties, retirement parties. And I'm like, well, I think, I couldn't see just a virtual Pride. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't even know what that looks like just to do a virtual Pride. So why don't we do a virtual drive-through Pride then? Because now I can participate in the safety of my own vehicle, as well as participate with the virtual aspect of the entertainment side. And so when I did that, I was like, okay, well, let's go, let's try to get something that we can, give a spotlight to our local Black businesses that support the LGBT and Black LGBT culture, which is Cedar Crest by Provo. And so I'm like, let's boost our people up. And the best way of doing that is to host this at the actual club, at the actual bar. And then I called DJ Dennis, and I was like, okay, D, I need y'all help on something because I really want to do this at the club. And he was like, well, I'm already working on, other Pride events, so we can just combine it all that same weekend. And that was history. We met the very next day. And I mean, and that was just 2 weeks ago. So this has all happened in the last 2.5 weeks of us putting this together. So
yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was wondering that. Like, I'm like, well, nobody told me. I could have came home and, helped out. Like, what?
Yeah, we did it within 2 weeks.
This is good. It was good work.
They call that building the road as you walk it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Which
I had
is
a
necessary.
vision for
It's necessary sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I had that vision just for that Saturday afternoon, and then with DJ and the rest of the crew, it just evolved in something that everyone can participate in across the board.
Right.
Well, yeah, I used to work for a nonprofit. We would sometimes we did an annual event that we would start. It would take us 12 months to plan it all out. But then sometimes some things just came up on our plate, and it was just like, we got to do this now, So I think it's important to have that long-term planning, but I think it's also important to stay on your toes, and sometimes you gotta run with the movement when the movement says run,
Right.
Right. And so Dennis, Gjvar reached out to you, and what did that prompt you to do on your end?
It was like, go. This Pride event it's not just an event for me, it's a dream. This is something I always talked about doing. I think I previously talked to Gjvar about it before, like a few years ago. And, I always called it off. I felt like I wasn't ready to do it. So, once I talked with Gjvar, whatever, he talked to me and I was like already writing it down. I was like, Gjvar, I'm gonna do this time. We're gonna make this happen, and it all fell in place. It was just like, God put all three of us, me, Charlie, and Gjvar, in a position to where we can work with each other. It kind of just all started falling. It was just like blessings was falling, and everything was just falling into place. It was crazy. It was crazy, but this is it's not just an event for me. It's a dream, and it's like one of my dreams come true. I always wanted to do this for Baton Rouge because I felt like we was overlooked for us, our club.
Yeah.
I felt like we was always overlooked. We weren't. I don't want to say we wasn't invited to, the other Pride events, but I don't feel like it was like a,
wasn't
just a real inviting invitation, I guess I can say.
Well, I think there's a difference between an open invitation and somebody reaching out to you.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I think you can hope that certain people walk through the doorway because you put out, you made it open to the public, but I think reaching out is something different. Connecting. I think we all need to make sure that we're connecting to the people that we want to walk through the doorway. And so Sherice, you're here repping for Charlie. Charlie couldn't be here today. We're talking about Charlotte Provo, who owns the bar, where a lot of these events are going to be happening. And Sherice, you're a filmmaker, currently enrolled at Dillard.
Yes, sir.
And me and you have a Tank and the Bangers connection.
Right.
So, I think that the connections are always there. We just have to reach out.
Right.
And you Baton Rouge is small, y'all. It's like you reach out to somebody, all the same people. It's amazing. And so when we talk about the colors of pride, let's go back a little bit for our listeners who might not be so aware. What is the history of pride in general, and what is the history of pride events in Baton Rouge?
Anybody want to go?
Well, I've been, I don't know, I've been to several prides because I'm a traveler. I'm originally from New York, moved to Philly, moved to Florida, moved back to Philly, moved to Atlanta, now I'm Baton Rouge. So I've been to Pride in at least 5 different states. And there's always a need for 2 prides, a Black pride and everybody else. And some may say we're being exclusive. We have to cater to our own. We have different struggles. Yeah, we all have the gay struggle. We all have to get that equality, but then there's the layer of being Black and gay. So the way I see Pride and the history of Pride, I mean, it's always been not even acceptance. Just we've always needed a place to just feel whole and to see people that look like us. Because when growing up gay, you always think you're the only one. No one else out there is gay. It's just me. Even though we know what gay is, So I think the history of Pride, it comes from, like those riots, those movements like Stonewall. There's a house in California, there's a place in California. I can't come, the name of it isn't coming to me, but they actually locked these people into this bar and set it on fire, this gay bar.
Yeah.
No, it was another one. It's another one. So they've done this several times.
Oh yeah.
But out of these movements come Pride, because Pride really began as a revolution, not so much just a celebration of who we are. It was a fight to be who we are.
Right.
And like it has evolved now into fun and parties, but there's still that aspect of revolution and information. For me, like I said, Black pride is definitely needed because we face so many there's a whole nother layer of discrimination that comes up with Black pride. With being Black and gay, we have to still deal with lack of, medical professionals that even want to deal with us.
Yeah.
Working, work, homelessness, poverty, mental illness. So we come with a whole other package of things that need to be addressed. And this is why it's important for us to have our own pride along with the inclusive pride.
Well, I think it's important to let people know, when we talk about a Black pride, we're not talking about other people being turned away.
Right.
We're just saying that it's Black centered.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
our culture is different.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
The Black culture is different, and I think that's in Baton Rouge, the history. I've served with the Baton Rouge Pride Fest on their board. I served for 2.5 years, and I was out helping with their entertainment because I believed that we needed to have representation on their board to make sure that our culture was included with theirs. And so that's what's always lacking, is because you have naysayers that don't understand us as a culture, as people.
Right.
And so they kind of blanket over us of what we should be or what we should do. And instead of leaning into our culture and our art, the art of our culture, So that is left out so much that's why you always have a white pride and then a Black pride, because the two underlying, things are completely different. They want to celebrate. Of course, we all want to celebrate, but they just want to celebrate and have a really good time, family-wise. And on the other hand, us Blacks, we want the arts. We want to hear some music. We want to see some dancing. We want to see the artists of our body, the art of our bodies. And so we want to celebrate all of that in a way that can unite as well, instead of, because sometimes they don't want to hear our music. They don't want to embrace our culture. That's too abrasive to the other side.
From what y'all told me, as we were getting ready to start the show, Baton Rouge Pride has agreed to promote you guys' event, and they are throwing their support behind it.
Correct. I saw a lot of things come out during these times with the shooting and the killings of our Black unarmed people. And so they stood in solidarity online and issued out a series of statements and things like that. And so with that being said, if you want to stand with us in solidarity, be with us in our culture, integrate, start to figure out and open up the dialogue of our own stigmas, because stigmas keep us divided until we understand what the stigmas is, and there's a lot of work in the public health field about stigma reduction, and I don't think that you can reduce stigma. I think that you understand stigma. You understand stigma, because we stigmatize ourselves and others on a daily basis with just the things that we know, because it's just an ignorance, it's just a lack of information. And so if we begin to break down those walls and have conversations with each other, we get to know one another. Those stigmas already break down and eliminate themselves because of our mentality and our mind frame of where we are.
Very well said, Gjvar. Sherice, you've been to all these prides all over the country. Tell us about your first pride and how was that in any way fulfilling or moving for you?
My first pride, I would say it was DC, Chocolate City. And for me, it was just like going to the gay club for the first time. It was like, oh my God, like everybody here is just like me, and like I said, I went to DC Pride, so it was black pride. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, I was overwhelmed. I felt proud. It was like, because I've always appeared queer. Like some people might want to call me a stud. Some people, may want to say stuff, whatever, because I wear nail polish, I do whatever I want. You know what I mean? So it's like, in no section, like, it's like, I don't fit in this, I don't fit in this. But when you get to pride, it's like, I fit.
Yeah,
Like no matter what you do, because there's people out there with no shirts, women with no shirts on, men in tutus. You can do what you want, and it was empowering, because for me, pride is resource and representation. You know what I mean? You go to pride, especially for us, because it's a lot of outreach being done along with the partying. Yeah. And so it's like, you going out there and it's like you see all these people that look like you, and it's like, okay, all right, we can start talking and building, and this is helping build me up and build who I am. And like, wow, now I know I can go here if I need to do this, or if I need to get help, I can go here. Or I can just go party with these people that ain't gonna look at me like I'm crazy. I can hold my girlfriend's hand, I can kiss her, or I can turn around and kiss this dude, or I can turn around and kiss this trans woman. I can do what I want, and that's what's so beautiful about pride. There's no rules. You do as you want. It's our own society, micro society for that weekend. Or that week.
So when you say
straight people in DC, when I went to Pride, I was like, oh, straight people here, huh?
So when you say there's no rules, if I as a straight person came to Pride, there's a certain proper etiquette for me how I can carry myself.
There's rules because you're an outsider now.
Yeah.
As long as
to
me as a straight person, as long as you coming in there with a good heart and you coming in there to celebrate and not tearing nobody down or ridicule nobody, come in and have a good time. There ain't no rules. Don't bother the atmosphere.
This ain't no fishbowl. And that's what a lot of the straight people come to do. It's like, it's a fishbowl and we want to look and, I'm going to go home and tell the tease to my family. No. Because there's that gay appropriation that comes as well. No, we're not doing that. You come as an observer to understand, you know what I'm saying? But understand this isn't your world. You're an observer, and we're welcoming you in, because we have to be protective of it.
Yes.
We do still have to be protective of our culture, because we are, if you see, we're mainstream now, but we're still being threatened and all that.
Yeah, and our community is vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
And our community is very vulnerable. I mean, you still have homophobic attacks, you still have trans killings, you still have, so there's so many outsiders that seek to destroy us that we always have our defenses up. And pride is a space where those defenses kind of fall.
Right,
You know, we can
right.
finally lay the burdens down and just say,
We can
look,
be
we can
comfortable.
be us and be comfortable. And so, yeah, you don't want anybody coming in threatening that, because then that ruins
Right.
the whole crowd.
The purpose, right.
Yeah.
So they're
So-
welcome. You know, heterosexuals are welcome, but understand the space that you're coming into and what it
Yeah.
means for the people that are
I mean,
there.
I think it could be as simple as don't center yourself. This is not about you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I think it's, you know, for people with a lot of privileges, which, you know, as a straight male, I enjoy a lot of privileges, even though I'm Black. I think it is important for me to constantly like check myself and to be aware of what kind of space I'm taking up, and is it space that I need to be taking up at that time.
And I think we all have to do that as well, because even with myself, excuse me, as being masculine presenting, there are privileges that I get that a femme lesbian won't get. You know,
Wow.
so I think as people,
That's true.
we all need to constantly, because no matter how low on the totem pole we feel we are, there's someone lower than us, you know. So I think we always have to make sure we're checking our privilege. But I think even just as a heterosexual coming to Pride, and with just in walking in life, you need to be aware. It's awareness of who you are and where you are, you know. And as long as you're self-aware, everything should be cool. You know,
Right.
like if people are
Be
more
cool.
self-aware and saw
Everything
that,
will be cool.
Oh, yeah.
basically, it's when you're self-aware, you see yourself in others, and then that brings that compassion and that connection, and you know.
Humanity. We are all human first.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I attended a Pride event a couple of years ago, Baton Rouge Pride. We were over at I was with playing with the Mike Foster Project. We were one of the live acts that were being featured there, and we were over at I always want to call it Catfish Town. I know it ain't been Catfish Town for 20 years, but I'm old.
Spanish Town, huh?
No. This was over downtown Baton Rouge. I'm trying to think of it's a part of that hotel now that's right by the river.
The River Center. The
River Center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway,
Yeah.
we played over there. There were a few protesters outside. You know, they're gonna do what they do, but it was just really like a very, very welcoming. There was definitely like a family feel to it, and I know to some people that might sound weird to say that it felt like a family event, but you know, there was just a lot of goodwill and joy in the air. And I think that until you've been to it and seen that, you just don't know, because like y'all said, there's so much negative stigma around it.
Right.
And so this upcoming event, we're not calling it a festival, even though there's like 20 different events happening from Thursday to Sunday. What are some of the, tell us about some of the events that are happening.
Well, we started off on Thursday. Thursday is our Pride kickoff. That's we have a big review show, and it's going to consist of legends here of our Black gay community. We have people like, you know, Jaquari is there, Mercedes Black, Sherice Sinclair, Araya Sinclair, Maurice Kennedy, just a host of people, you know, that Dominique Denoir. You know, we have a host of people that, you know, are here legend that opened doors for me to be able to do this, you know. So, you know, I reached out to them. They was all on board for it. So that's how will be our kickoff, you know, our review show on Thursday. Then Friday, we have a Greek night, which consists of gay Greeks. We have a stroll off. We're giving them a grand prize for the stroll off. And we also are having our Black gay artists. They're going to be performing their music and things. And we're going to have singers and poets and all those good things, you know, for people of those talents. On Friday, also at 3 to 7, we have our meet and greet at the Red Stick Social. So we're going to do a meet and greet there, you know, fellowship and socialize with each other, get to know each other and meet different people, you know, and do that. And we're going to pass out things from Provo. And I'm not sure they're going to be doing tests in our Not sure. I think they are, but I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
Are they
from what I understand, there's testing going to be going on there.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So testing will be going on at Restic Social. Then that Saturday night, of course, the party side of it, we're gonna have a good time, I guess. We'll have some more entertainers from we also have entertainers coming from Atlanta. This Star Sheraton and Landon B. Dickerson will be there. We have Mr. Gay Louisiana that's also coming down to join us. So it's like we got a host of events.
Yeah.
On Sunday we have a fun day, Wedding Wild. We'll have a water slide and throwing balloons and shooting water guns. Like it's gonna be fun. Like it's like I'm so excited. I'm so overly excited.
I'm taking it personal.
So Sherice, you're out of town and you're gonna miss the whole thing.
I get home next Thursday, a week from today. Like really?
But that's all right. Because Saturday afternoon, we're doing the virtual drive-through parade, and so you can be able to sign in. Everybody can go and check out our YouTube page. Subscribe to BR Out of the Box, and Out of the Box is just a social. It's a myriad of holistic health programs that we developed over the last decade for our community. And so that, so broadcasting live from BR Out of the Box on YouTube, and then we're going to stream, share that on all social media platforms so that you can be engaged with the parade as it's happening. And see who's coming out and support. You get to watch the live entertainment, drag shows, DJ, dancers. We have a whole lineup, for the event. And so it'll all be streamed live. And so for those that are out of town, those that can't make it, those that want to stay home and further social distance and just be to themselves, we have something for everybody. And so that's what that Saturday afternoon was designed for. We'll have the testing unit out for HIV testing in honor, because that will be actual National HIV Testing Day. So we're following the mitigation procedures for that, as well as the NAACP will be out there doing voter registration and membership drive. So we really want to engage the community on all different levels, because if we don't pay attention to the holistic health of our community, we are doing each other a disservice.
We're gonna have entrepreneurs out there too from our community. Also, we're gonna have
a whole bunch of
different food vendors. A lot of gay entrepreneurs contacting me, and they're gonna come set up their booths and stuff and have their things out there to show. I have guys bringing art out there. We have a live band coming. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice, y'all. And it's a dream come true. It's like I get sometimes I get emotional about it, because it's something I always want. You can act like Gjvar can speak for me. I'm all about unity. And when it comes down to with Baton Rouge, we were so divided. We were so divided here in Baton Rouge, as far as our gay community, in our Black gay community, we're divided. It's like we work in packs. It's like, well, if this group not going, well, I'm not going to deal with it. If this group not going, I'm not going to go. So with me, us being able to collab and get together and come as one and make this happen, it's big for me. It's a big deal. It's big.
And see, that's kind of the purpose of us, Cedar Crest Bar, is we wanted a place where we could just come together somewhere cute, somewhere nice, and just hang out and relax, And it's everybody just talking, because I'm new to BR. I've only been in Baton Rouge for about this October make 3 years, and like I said, I'm coming from big cities, so it's like in Philly we have a whole neighborhood. We have our own strip. The streets is painted rainbow. You go to that area, what's there. That's our space. So it's talking, and I would just sit around the bar and talk to people. They come in, the gay people, patrons, and they're just we don't really have a place, that's really for us. And even coming from up north, we had to deal with protesting in the gay community because the white bars were treating us like crap. The owners were caught on tape, you know, calling us the N-word and stuff like that. So we had to boycott and protest up there. So it's like to come down here and it's like, we don't even really have much anything to even go to even protest or be occupied. You know what I mean? So it's just like this may be that thing to bring everybody together and be like, okay, here's a bar that's welcoming you, run by a Black lesbian. Like this is a safe place, a brave place, you know. Because there's also out here, there's also the fact of being in the closet. And a lot of people don't want to come out. You know, they don't want to be, you know, outed. So I think what you guys are doing, what you know, you guys in Charlotte are doing is good for the community, because I think it'll help more people just you know find a home and be more comfortable. You can go to the bar, even if you don't go to the bar as out, but just to go to the bar where there's a gay person.
But you know, and that brings me, because I'm getting ready to. I for a decade now, I've been in the field of public health, and we do not have an LGBT center here in Baton Rouge. And that was my ultimate dream from the very beginning. And so this year, by the end of the year, and maybe in a couple months, I will be opening up what I call the pilot center. And so it will be the out-of-the-box center, and we are going to start to show them the need and the necessity of an LGBT center. And so we're going to create it. And they say if you build it, they will come. I want to provide social aspect to the community and educational things, you know, intimate partner violence. You know, let's talk about that. Let's understand what it is and how we can identify and get out of that situation. Mental illness. We need to deal with, you know, just so much. I mean, we as a community, we don't even have anywhere to go to learn financial planning, you know, just nutritional facts, just everyday life that we live. We don't have a center and a common place just for that. So therefore, you know, that's what we want to create, and that's what we're going to create. And so I'm in the process of getting that done so that we can open up and provide a day center for our community, a safe space for our community to come to and learn, educate, unite, and be behind each other. And then the night aspect, that's home at Cedar Crest, you know? So we want to build our community in which we want to see going forward.
No, we're building the community we want to see. We don't want to do nothing. We do.
We've been trying for a long time. So now we in the doing.
Okay, how you doing?
That's beautiful, Gjvar. And I think, you know, it makes me think about my good friend of mine who had to move away from Baton Rouge because it's an at-will state, and she was fired from her full-time job because she was gay. They didn't give her any other reason. They just told her, we found out you're gay and we're firing you, and she was fired, and that was legal. And still is, as far as I know. And so I think that I also think quite often, you know, there's the family we're born into, and then there's the family we seek out for ourselves. And I think quite often that second family is the family that you lean on the most sometimes. And so I think, you know, there's definitely a need. When we say community, what we're really talking about is family. We're really talking about like that human connection, that support group, those people who get you, you know, and that's not always, sadly, that's not always the people that we share blood with. And so I think in some communities, we see a greater need for community because the level of vulnerability and the ostracization, am I saying that correctly? The level of being ostracized.
Right, it's right today. We can make up some words.
Right. Trump does it all the time.
So I don't know how anybody can't get it. I don't think I'm an extra smart guy, but I don't know how anybody can't get the greater need for community in some of our local cultures that we have here and local demographics that we have here. I don't know why some people can't get that, because, you know, when I first started going out to the poetry reading, I was the fly in the ointment. I know what they say, fly in the milk. You know, I would be like the only black guy sitting in there, you know, and that wasn't, I was welcome, but I wasn't as comfortable as I would be sitting in a room full of people who look like me. And I think that sometimes we take that for granted, that comfort. We assume everybody feels as comfortable as we feel sometimes. And why you gotta go have your own thing? You know, it's like we nobody's bothering you in here. It's like, yeah, but you know, sometimes more people.
That's not enough.
Together, you know, that's personal. You know,
nobody wants to go out to not be bothered. Like, no, like I want to be included.
Right, for real.
You know, and it's funny that you say that because I know from my generation when I first came, I came out at 16. I was like 96, 95, and you know, we said family. Like that's how you knew somebody was gay. You know, it's like, oh, you family? Oh, you family? You family? They have the kids have moved away from saying family, but that's how we used to be, and that's how we used to interact. Now I haven't heard none of the kids say family. That was like code word back in the day. Now I don't hear that as much, but that's still the same energy, like my family. And then now, you know, with the present, like the mainstream ballroom scene now, because like when I was going to balls, it was like in the hood, in the dirtiest bars, you risking your life to go in there. When you come out, you might get stabbed. But it was where we can go, where the misfits went, and now it's all over TV. But that's what those families were for in the ballroom. That's what that was. Ballroom was a place for those ostracized to find families, and those house mothers and fathers, they take care of them kids. Some of them are bad house mothers and fathers, but some of them are good. They really are, you know, making sure these kids are eating and taking them off the street and feeding them because they own family. You even got people that can still go home for Thanksgiving, but still got to hear all the homophobic rhetoric. Yeah. You know, so it's like, it's definitely family because you need that place where you can go and you're not just being accepted because you're blood.
Right,
you know, you're accepted because of who you are. Because I'm quite sure I'm accepted in my family because I'm blood for a lot of people.
Right.
I'm not
Me
this
too.
side. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you cool to be gay because you ain't my child, you just my niece. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that second family and the gay family that we create, it is definitely, they know more about our heartbreaks and our triumphs than our real family usually does, you know?
Yeah.
Jaquaris is my uncle. That's my gay uncle.
There you go.
Been on me since I was like 17.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. I was like 17 when I met them. Him and my father Jay, and it's like they were real uncle and real dad to me. Like they taught me a lot. They showed me a lot.
Show you the road.
They made sure
Show you how to survive.
Finish high school. They made sure I worked. Like they were like parents. Like they were on me. That's like my own parents.
When your real family ostracized you.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, it sounds like
y'all, when we say uncle, gay uncle, or my gay cousin, or my gay. It sounds like when we be like, let's play house, but it's like, nah, it's deeper than that. It ain't just a title.
You know,
sometimes it's the people that save your lives.
Yeah, I have 7 gay children and many gay grandchildren. And coming up, you know, since I've been in Baton Rouge, I've always been the house that everybody comes to when they get put out or when they don't have places to go. I remember it was 11 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment because they had nowhere to go, and I refused to have my family out on the street. And so to eat, you know, I used to cook Thanksgiving and Easter every year because these are times that I come from Chicago. We were family, you know what I mean? Regardless. And so I never not knew what family did, and we were always together. And so that's what I brought with me to Baton Rouge, to our community, because we never know who we could help, you know what I mean? It's just not just on one level, it's on multiple levels.
Right.
And we grow from them too. You know, I've grown and learned many lessons from those that just don't have as much as I have, you know, and so I have to check my privilege on a daily basis to say, look, I'm not no better than anybody else. And so if I have, you have, we have. but I'm not going to let you be out there and you know, at your own peril.
Right.
And so this huge Pride event that y'all have put together and gotten the word out about, you're still getting the word out about it, and y'all about to be exhausted. Y'all gonna sleep good next week. So we have Cedar Crest at Provo, Cedar Crest by Provo, I'm sorry. Is the venue. What's the address for Cedar Crest by Provo?
It's
1067 Airline Highway.
1067 Airline Highway. And if people want to know more about Colors of Pride, they can. Where can they go online?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, Colors of Pride.
Yeah,
Awesome,
and then also on Facebook, you can check out BR Out of the Box on Facebook and YouTube. And that's where we put a lot of our content on. So yeah, join us, be a part of us, and that's how you know what the community is doing, because I make sure to post and let everyone know about everything going on.
Right.
So this is just year one, correct?
Yeah, this is our first year.
All right, so let's go ahead on and claim year two and year three and year four.
We started planning on year two already. So
that's already
year two, be expecting a festival to be
put up in there. Festival.
You know, because we really gonna make that thing a festival.
We may have
gonna have the time, the resources, and everything.
And not to be there.
And so if I'm a small business owner and I'm considering maybe this year's too late to become a sponsor, but next year maybe I could come out to this event this year and have a chat with y'all about being a sponsor next year, because
that'd be great.
I think come on, man, why wouldn't anybody want their business associated with family, with community?
Right. Only a fool wouldn't.
Must not like money.
Right. Or people.
All right.
There you go.
Well, we're gonna end on that note right there. That's a mic drop right there. So Gjvar, Dennis, Sherice, thank y'all so much for coming on AC23 and talking about Colors of Pride. And for all the listeners out there, y'all make sure y'all go check out Colors of Pride. Regardless of how you identify, it's about family and community, and throw your support behind it, get the word out. And y'all, I want to thank y'all for doing this. For everybody in your community that's a former student of mine or a current friend of mine, I love this for them to have this connection to community. I love it. And so thank y'all for doing the work that y'all are doing.
Thank you.
And thank you for helping us get our word out.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right, listeners, this is Xero signing off for AC23. I will see y'all at a show. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, y'all.
All right.
All right.
Be blessed.
Be blessed.